we were just talking. We were just talking about this. Here's another fact about. Obviously, there's a God. When you look at, you know, like there's life inside of it. Not only life, but a distinct personality and a DNA number that doesn't match anybody else's, just like yours. You know, if your evolution was real, there would be no need for it. Your DNA would just be non-existent, or it would just be human. There wouldn't be different types of blood. And but the other thing is you choose. You can't. You weren't able to choose coming here. You're here. You have no control over it. And I just never understood how women, especially, have a baby, and you have a miniature person. I mean, imagine at one time I was a baby, and now I'm this big. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a bigger baby. Now it's she's got indigestion. It's funny. She's just gonna hiccup this whole video. Watch this, and we have a good time. You didn't even choose to be here, you know. If it's just like you have no control over it. You have no control over it. You have free will, but you don't have any control over that. That's insanity. That obviously there's something bigger at work, Obviously, I mean, it doesn't take a scientist to figure out that evolution is a lie. Evolution is the biggest fairy tale Disney ever pulled off. When you think about it, it's like I look at these cats, and they're, and I just look at them and go, there's an engine inside you that keeps your heart beating and keeps you alive and keeps your blood flowing and your ears twitching and your eyes blinking and dilating and getting big, and the system that they try to describe it, but it's like, well, where did that system come from? You can't even control your breathing. It's like involuntary, like you just breathe. Well, something put that into motion, because rocks colliding would not put us in motion where we were, started out walking, riding animals, cars, building these huge metropolises. I mean, I don't know, man. When people go, where's God at? He's everywhere. He's everywhere, It's just people, if you really, and I say this all the time to people, if you really want to know God and you really want to see Him in your life and you really want that, all you got to do is seek Him,
I'll give you new eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what happened when I got sober, or maybe I got saved. I don't know which, but I can tell you, I know that I was born, again. I know that I wasn't the type of guy that was going to go around feeding cats and going out of my. I have no control over taking that dog. God told me, go in his yard and take the dog. Go to the nerd's house, take the nerd. Just do it. It's like, you sure? Let's settle down and think about this again. Make sure it's God. But if you really seek Him, He will speak to you. And that's another reason. We were talking about why I don't watch television, why we don't, we're not on social media that much. A lot of things. Do you realize that for me? Thank you. Because it kind of clogs up. It's kind of like it runs like an interference on your discernment. I don't need, we have a really simple life, and it's the best life that either one of us has ever had. The only reason why this relationship works is because we put God first in our relationship, and I tell people, like it says in Proverbs, all you got to do is trust in the Lord with all your heart. That's it. I don't know if I'm going to get fired tomorrow. All I know is I trust in Him with all my heart, and He's never let me down. Don't worry about your understandings about things. He has an understanding and knows your needs in advance. light years from now. You know, he knew you before you were formed, before the pillars of the flat earth were formed, you know. So, and in all ways acknowledge him. With my sobriety, with my getting into shape, I'd like to say, you know, I mean, I am a mentally tough individual, but we were just talking about it. I had low testosterone. I was 310 pounds. I had sleep apnea. I was exhausted all the time. I had a broken neck. I was constantly dope sick. And I was able, just barely able, to get the strength to work. And if anybody's ever suffered from either one of them things, imagine having all four at the same time. So I give him the glory and the credit, because that's who seen me through it, you know. But I had to acknowledge him and seek him first. I'm not worried about the mud flood. I'm not worried about dinosaurs. I'm not worried. I'm worried about people's salvation. That's it. You know, I'm worried about people's salvation. And at night when I leave ice cream in the fridge or freezer, sometimes I worry that the nerd, because she has a real habit of slipping out of bed and I know she does the thing with the door where she kind of goes, because that door, you hear it when somebody, but she's, don't let her fool you. We had a good workout today. Back to work tomorrow in the heat. And like I told her, I said, you know, I'd like to find a job that's a little bit more my speed, a little bit less labor intensive, but if God put me here, there's a reason. I'd like to ride it out until if it's ever meant for it to change, he'll put something in my path, and that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So life is a lot better when you just say, God, here's my life, take it, do what you, and that's how things were for her. Things never worked. You know, I kept telling her all the time, you're making this harder. Until you submit your life to God, you know, you're just making things harder and harder and harder. You can have the best intentions in the world, but you're still going to be flawed. There's a thing called the Holy Spirit that completely transforms your life and gives you new eyes and gives you a new heart, and you're able to have the strength and discernment to see things that other people, you know, don't see, you know. So I just want to leave you with that. Still got a couple still waiting on the question and answer video, and a couple other things I want to talk about. I just really honestly have not had the spark or the you know, the really motivation to want to do it and do it justice.